Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We are presented today for the pre-bidding conference for civil works under invitation to bid number 2025-021, which is of one project. Invitation to bid 2026-004, which is of one project. And invitation to bid 2026-011, which is of five projects. This pre-bidding activity is in accordance to Republic Act 12009 or the new Government Procurement Act, whereby the utility compliance to Section 38 of the RA 12009, video recording of all procurement-related conferences for competitive bidding to enhance the transparency of the procurement process, and in accordance to Department Order Number 06, Series of 2024. This conference will discuss, clarify, and explain the eligibility requirements and the technical and the financial components of the procurement projects, including the questions and clarification raised by the prospective bidders. Before we proceed, may I request the Secretary for a roll call and include the acknowledgement of this present.
So good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Today's DPWH conference for civil works held this August 20, 2026, along with acknowledge the presence of the family from the bank members, Engineer Edwin and Paul Chairperson,
Present.
Engineer Jeffrey C. Salmon, Vice Chairperson,
Present.
and Engineer Ernesto D. Terra Jr., Provisional Member.
Present.
From the Bank Secretariat, headed by Engineer Arthur Noel A. Lohr.
Present.
From the TWG, headed by Engineer Dave Herzl G. Palen,
Present.
together with Engineer Maylando M. Apolinaria.
Present.
We also have our representative from the Planning Design section, Engineer Donald H. Levy,
Present.
and from the Maintenance section, Engineer Giancarlo Quintabita.
Present.
That would be all, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Since majority of the above members are present, I will declare a quorum and call this meeting in order. We have the present agenda for this activity through audiovisual presentation.
Agenda 1. Brief presentation or explanation of the following. A. Basic contract data. A1. Contract description. A2. ABC. A3. Duration. A4. Other project details. B. Requirements of bidding documents. B1. Instructions to bidders. B2. General condition of contract. B3. Special conditions of contract. B4. Specifications. B5. Drawings. B6. Bill of quantities. And B7. GPPB standard forms for RA 12009. C. Documents to be submitted by the bidders. 1. Technical component of the bid. 1A. Valid and up-to-date PhilJEP Certificate of Registration, Platinum Membership. 1B. PCAB License and Registration. 1C. Statement of all ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started. 1D. Single largest completed contract. 1E. Net financial contracting capacity, NFCC computation, and statement of total asset and liabilities. 1F. Joint venture agreement, if applicable. 1G. Bid security. 1H. Minimum materials testing equipment as per DEO 11 series of 2017. 1I. Project requirements. Organizational chart for the contract. List of contractors' key personnel. List of major equipment. Omnibus sworn statement. ISO 9001-2015 certification requirement in compliance to Department Order Number 110, Series of 2024. 1J. Sworn disclosure of relations. 1K. Declaration of beneficial ownership. 2. Financial component of the bid. 2A. Bid form. 2B. Bid prices in the bill of quantities. 2C. Detailed estimates, including summary sheet, indicating unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in coming up with the bid. And 2D. Cash flow by quarter. D. criteria and procedure for eligibility check, primary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification, status of ongoing projects, and award. 2. Questions or comments from bidders and replies of BAC and other representatives of procuring entity. 3. Other matters. 3A. Section 99. Imposition of suspension of the IRR of RA 12009. 3B. Section 100. Imposition of blacklisting of the IRR of RA 12009. 3C. Department Order Number 110, Series of 2024. 3D. Department Order Number 241, Series of 2024. 4. Summary of proceedings, including supplemental or bid bulletins to be issued.
Okay, any motion to adopt this agenda? I move to adopt this agenda.
I second the motion.
It's moved by Engineer Pero and seconded by Engineer Samon. With no objection, the motion to adopt this agenda is hereby approved. The first in the order of business is the explanation of the basic contract data, including contract description, ABC and duration, and this will be presented to us by Engineer Lando Apolinaria, Engineer Punal PV, and Engineer Giancarlo Tabupa of the planning and design and maintenance section.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So for the invitation to bid 2025-021, the name of contract is construction of PWD building Monkayo, Davao de Oro. The contract ID number 5LI0106. The location is in Davao de Oro. The scope of works is in construction of PWD building, including reinforced concrete works, finishing and other civil works, electrical works, and other related works. With the approved budget for the contract, 9,650,000 pesos. And the source of fund is FY 2025 GAA. The contract duration is 156 calendar days, including 67 unworkable days. The size range is small b, license category is C and D, and the cost of bid documents is 10,000.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So for the invitation to bid 2026-004, name of contract, construction of road, Camantangan to Bankerohan Sur, Montevista, Davao de Oro. With the contract ID number 26LI0057, location Davao de Oro. Scope of works, CW1, construction of road. Completing width of 6.1 meters and thickness of 230 millimeters. Station 0 plus 000 to station 1 plus 970 for a length of 1,970 meters. Paved shoulder at 150 millimeters thick. Roadway excavation, removal of structures and obstructions, installation of RCPC Class 4, construction of concrete line canal and other minor drainage structure, routed with rock Class A, construction of road slope protection sheet pile, installation of metal guardrails including concrete posts with metal beam entities, application of reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings. For CW2, construction of road slope protection structure, construction of road slope protection routed riprap at station 0 plus 000 to station 1 plus 970 for a total area of 1,628.407 square meters on interpreted section both sides. Structure excavation, foundation fill, routed riprap Class A, and construction of road slope protection sheet pile. With an approved budget for the contract, 77,150,700 pesos. Source of fund, FY 2026 GAA. With a contract duration of 273 calendar days, including 134 unworkable days. Size range, medium A, license category B, and cost of the documents at 50,000 pesos.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, all the viewers.
Good morning.
For invitation to bid 2026-011, number 1, name of contract, repair rehabilitation of Bango Bridge, approach dash.
A1599 plus 491 along Benigno S. Aquino Jr. National Highway, Compostela, Davao de Oro. The contract ID number 26LI0075. Location, Davao de Oro. Scope of works, repair of reinforced concrete pavement from station 0 plus 00 to station 0 plus 30 meters. Repair of reinforced concrete revetment state from station 0 plus 00 to station 0 plus 015 15 meters. Repair of line canal structure from station 00 to station 0 plus 30 meters. Roadway excavation, common surplus excavation, embankment from roadway slash structure excavation, removal of existing reinforced concrete pavement, removal of structures and obstruction, reapplication of reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings. With approved budget for the contract, 10,717,172 pesos and 92 centavos. Source of fund, FY 2026 GAA, contract duration, 123 calendar days, including 24 unworkable days. Size range, small b. License category, C and D. Cost of bid documents, 25,000 pesos.
The second project, the name of contract is construction of multipurpose building at Mauswagon, Maragusan, Davao de Oro. With 7.30311970284927 degrees, 126.123389107232938 degrees. With the contract ID number 26LI0076. Location is in Davao de Oro. And scope of works is construction of daycare center with perimeter fence, including reinforced concrete works, finishing and other civil works, electrical works, and other related works. The approved budget for the contract is 7,920,000 pesos, and the source of fund is FY 2026 GAA. The contract duration is 144 calendar days, including 63 unworkable days. The size range is small b, license category is C and D, and the cost of B documents is 10,000 pesos. For the third project, the name of contract is construction of multipurpose building, DEPED admin building, Barangay, Poblacion, Maragusan, Davao de Oro. 126.119317 degrees, 7.318906 degrees. The contract ID number is 26LI0077. Location is in Davao de Oro. And the scope of works is construction of admin building, including reinforced concrete works, finishing and other civil works, electrical works, and other related works. The approved budget for the contract is 7,920,000 pesos. The source of fund is FY 2026 GAA. And the contract duration is 144 calendar days, including 63 unworkable days. The size range is small b, license category is C and D, and the cost of B documents is 10,000 pesos. For the fourth project, the name of contract is construction of DPWH Davao de Oro 2nd District Engineering Office, DEO building, right wing, Compostela, Davao de Oro. 126.041864 degrees, 7.689577 degrees. With the contract ID number 26LI0078. The location is in Davao de Oro. The scope of works is completion of second DEO building. This include the following: tile works, glazed and glazed, including kitchen and lavatory countertop, painting works in masonry and concrete, plumbing fixtures including kitchen sink, network cabling, passive and active components including data cabinets, toilet, glass partitions, acoustical ceiling, exterior and interior glass doors and windows, exterior and interior windows on right wing area, wooden panel doors, aluminum cladding and framing, lighting fixture, and QA laboratory cabinetry, partitions, and electrical works. The approved budget for the contract is 49 million pesos. and the source of fund is FY 2026 GAA. The contract duration is 294 calendar days, including 126 unworkable days. The size range is medium A, license category is B, and the cost of B documents is 25,000 pesos. For the fifth project, the name of contract is Construction of Multipurpose Building Daycare Center, Barangay Inambatan, Monkayo, Davao de Oro. 126.068547 degrees, 7.789921 degrees, with the contract ID number 26LI0079. The location is in Davao de Oro. The scope of works is construction of daycare center with perimeter fence, including reinforced concrete works, finishing and other civil works, electrical works, and other related works. The approved budget for the contract is 6,930,000 pesos. The source of funds is FY 2026 GAA. The contract duration is 120 calendar days, including 53 unworkable days. The size range is small b, license category is CND, and the cost of B documents is 10,000 pesos. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you for your explanation of the projects to be secured by the interested bidders. Next in the order of business is the brief explanation of the requirements of bidding documents, the documents to be submitted by the bidders, and other reminders in the preparation and submission through audiovisual presentation.
To participate and qualify in our procurement activity, interested bidders are encouraged to read the following documents. 1. Instructions to bidders. 2. Bid data sheet. 3. General conditions of the contract. 4. Special conditions of the contract. 5. Bill of quantities. 6. Drawings and specification. 7. Securities and other forms as may be required for the contract. Bidders are strongly advised to read each provision, especially the instructions to bidders and general conditions of the contract, whose special instructions are clearly spelled out in the bid data sheet and special conditions of the contract, respectively. Bidders are also encouraged to check the bill of quantities so that your bid will be responsive to the requirements set forth in the bidding documents. These documents can be downloaded free of charge from the PhilJEPS and DPWH websites. Interested bidders shall pay the applicable amount for the bidding documents not later than the submission of your bids. The following documents should be included by interested bidders in their bids. 1. Technical component of the bid. 1A. Valid and updated PhilJEPS certificate of registration, platinum membership. 1B. PCAB license and registration. 1C. Statement of all ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started. 1D. Single largest completed contract, or SLCC. 1E. Net financial contracting capacity, or NFCC computation, and statement of total asset and liabilities. 1F. Joint venture agreement, if applicable. Eligibility documents to be updated. 1G. Bid security. 1H. Minimum materials testing equipment as per DEO 11 series of 2017. 1I. Project requirements. Organizational chart for the contract. List of contractors' key personnel. List of major equipment. Omnibus sworn statement in prescribed format in accordance to GPPB Resolution number 03-2025, ISO 9001-2015 certification requirement in compliance to Department Order number 110 series of 2024, 1J, sworn disclosure of relations, 1K, declaration of beneficial ownership. 2. Financial component of the bid. 2A. Bid form in prescribed format in accordance to GPPB Resolution number 03-2025. 2B. Bid prices in the bill of quantities. 2C. Detailed estimates, including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in coming up with the bid, and 2D, cash flow by quarter. All of the above statements shall include all information required in the PBDs prescribed by the GPPB. Please be reminded that the following documents, omnibus sworn statement, bid form, and bid securing declaration, if you opted to this type of bid security, should be in standard format as per guidelines of Government Procurement Policy Board, or GPPB, in their resolution number 03-2025. Kindly check the format of the documents you are using to avoid being declared non-responsive pursuant for using unprescribed format. Bidders should submit their documents using a 2-envelope system. It is recommended to fasten the documents only at the top, rather than soft or hard binding them. Each document must be clearly ear tagged and labeled with the name of the document, rather than the number or letter listed in the checklist. There should be 3 copies of these documents, 2 sets of original copies of your documents, the original 1 and original 2, and 1 photocopy of your documents, the copy 1. The original 1 consists the first set of original copy of the technical component of the bid that should be placed in 1 envelope, and the first set of original copy of the financial component of the bid that should be placed in a separate envelope. These envelopes must be labeled as original copy of technical component and original copy of financial component, respectively. Both labeled envelopes should then be sealed in a 1 larger envelope labeled as original 1 of the bid. The same sealing process applies to the remaining original 2 and copy 1. Finally, the 2 original copies and the copy 1 of the bid should then be placed in a 1 final envelope and appropriately labeled according to the instructions in the bidding documents. Bidders are encouraged to read Section 18 of the Instructions to Bidders, page 32, to fully understand the sealing and marking of bids. Follow the checklist of the technical and financial document requirements uploaded with the bidding documents for the contract to be bid out. Absence of any required document shall be considered as failure of compliance on the required document and non-compliance of the bid. Affix initial on all pages of the documents. The initial affirms the authenticity of the pages, that they are indeed part of the submitted bid documents. Submit your bids personally here in our office, or you have also the option to submit your bids electronically. Preparation of technical and financial documents of your bids are outlined in Department Order number 87, Series of 2020. Sealing and marking of bids is also outlined on the said Department Order. Interested bidders are advised to read these in case your choice is electronic submission. Submit electronic bids to electronicbids_Davao de Oro 2 at dpwh.gov.ph. Please be reminded that your key personnel should only occupy 1 position in your organizational chart. Duplication of functions of your personnel will be grounds for disqualification pursuant to the principle of Item 6 under Department Order Number 9, Series of 2012. Additionally, prospective bidders' key personnel shall submit copies of their valid and updated PRC licenses and/or accreditation, whichever is applicable. Kindly also indicate the tax identification numbers, since this will be used in the award of contract. Further, on your bid form and bill of quantities, write legibly. Also, if you are offering a discount in your bid form, please indicate specifically the methodology as to where or which pay item the discount will take effect. Absence of methodology, original amount will prevail. Discrepancies between bid prices in words and figures, the words will prevail. Bids not addressing or providing or filling out all the required items in the bidding documents, such as in the bill of quantities, the bid is considered non-responsive and is outright disqualified. Additional instructions on the purchase of bidding documents. If submitting through authorized representative, it must be accompanied by a notarized special power of attorney for sole proprietorship, board or partnership, or joint venture resolution, with Secretary Certificate for corporation or partnership or joint venture or cooperative. The authorized representative shall be required to present a valid government ID and valid company ID. Prospective bidders shall attach to the technical component of the bidding documents a sworn disclosure of relations, declaration of beneficial ownership, and general information sheet, GIS, reflecting the beneficial ownership information, BOI, duly received by the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, clearly identifying the natural person who ultimately own, control, or benefit from the bidding entity, whether directly or indirectly, through shareholding, voting rights, contractual arrangements, or other means of control. This requirement is in compliance to Rule 15, Disclosure of Relations, Section 81 and Section 82 of the IRR of RA 12009. Sworn disclosure of relations and declaration of beneficial ownership are a separate document. Sample forms of these documents are available and downloadable free of charge from the PhilJeps and DPWH websites. In compliance to the memorandum issued by Secretary Vivencio B. Dizon, dated February 24th, 2026, item numbers 1, 2, and 3 states that 1. Considering that the current Omnibus Sworn Statement, OSS, already incorporates sworn declarations relating to beneficial ownership disclosure, and in order to streamline documentary requirements and avoid duplication of sworn submissions, the separate submission of the sworn affidavit of eligibility and beneficial ownership, Annex A, shall no longer be required. 2. In lieu thereof, disclosure of beneficial ownership shall be established through submission of the latest General Information Sheet, GIS, reflecting beneficial ownership information, BOI, duly filed with and stamped received by the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. This requirement shall be specified in the documents comprising the bid, as mentioned in item number 4 hereof, and shall be submitted by the bidders in its bid. 3. The requirement shall apply only to the entities enumerated under Section 82 of the IRR, namely legal entities such as corporations, partnerships, private sector organizations, foundations, and associations. The back secretariat will not be responsible for the failure of the prospective bidders in paying bidding document on time before the bid dropping due to late arrival and delayed processing of the order of payment. Loss of the order of payment and supporting documents already released or issued is not the responsibility of the back secretariat. Always check your documents before submitting the same to our end to avoid disqualification of your firm.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. To add, especially in accomplishing or filling out the BOQ, if you opt to computerize the preparation of your BOQ, please use the font style Tahoma and font size 11. This is to make your proposal readable or legible. Also, in your detailed estimates or detailed cost estimates, kindly explicitly outline and or indicate the OCM, contractor, profit, as well as the VAT. Since this would be essential during the contract implementation, should there be a need for operation order. We would also like to remind the bidders to submit 3 names through email prior to the bidding date. However, only one of these 3 names will be able to enter our premises during the bidding activity. Additionally, bidders are requested to bring the hard copy of the letter of intent to participate and purchase bid documents during the bidding date. However, only the signatory may cancel and or advise this fully signed later. Next in the order of business is the explanation of the criteria and procedures for eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification, status of ongoing projects and award. And this will be discussed again through audiovisual presentation.
The criteria for eligibility check are set forth in Section 52 of the Implementing Rules and Regulations of RA 12009 and the contract profile base in Department Order number 164, series of 2025, revised guidelines for the determination of major and similar categories of work. All prospective bidders should have a valid and updated Class A legal, technical, and financial documents and Class B documents, if applicable. Preliminary examination of bids shall be conducted in compliance to Section 59 of the IRR of RA 12009. The BAC shall open the first bid envelopes in public to determine each bidder's compliance with the documents required to be submitted for the eligibility and technical requirements as prescribed in this IRR. After opening the first envelope, the BAC shall simultaneously conduct the electronic eligibility processing through the Civil Works Application, or CWA, and preliminary examination of the technical components of the bids. If a bidder submitted the required document, it shall be rated passed for that particular requirement. In this regard, bids that fail to include any requirement or are incomplete or patently insufficient shall be considered as failed. Bidders who failed in the contractor profile eligibility process due to their outdated eligibility documents in Civil Works Application, or CWA, shall undergo manual eligibility check based on the submitted eligibility documents. If found to be eligible and at the same time pass the preliminary examination of their technical proposal, their financial proposal will also be opened. However, the committee will conduct second electronic eligibility check after updating the eligibility records of the bidder through the contractor's profile application or through Procurement Service DPWH Central Office. Result of the latest electronic eligibility processing shall prevail over the manual eligibility evaluation. All opened financial components of the bid shall also undergo preliminary examination. If passed, the committee will read the bid amount stated in the bid form. The BAC shall immediately conduct a detailed evaluation of all bids in accordance to Section 61 of the IRR of RA 12009, using non-discretionary criteria in considering the 1. Completeness of the bid, and 2. Arithmetical corrections. Bids shall then be ranked in the ascending order of their total calculated bid prices, as evaluated and corrected for computational errors, to identify the lowest calculated bid, LCB. The lowest calculated bid, LCB, shall undergo post-qualification in accordance to Section 63 of the IRR of RA 12009, in order to determine whether the bidder concerned complies with and is responsive to all the requirements and conditions as specified in the bidding. If found to be responsive, the bidder will be declared lowest calculated and responsive bid and will be recommended for award of the contract. If found to be non-responsive, the committee will conduct post-qualification to the next lowest calculated bid ranked during bid evaluation stage. The criteria for the award is lowest calculated responsive bid, LCRB. Bidders should submit a comprehensive and accurate statement of all ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started. The form is downloadable. RA 12009 is strict regarding misrepresentation. Failure to include even one ongoing contract, even if it is small or not yet started, is considered a failed bid due to incomplete documentation and subject to post-disqualification. Single largest completed contract, SLCC, shall be supported by an owner's certificate of final acceptance issued by the project owner other than the contractor, or a final rating of at least satisfactory in the CPAS. Prospective bidders are reminded that the committee shall conduct a verification of all existing contracts in accordance to DPWH Department Order number 127, series of 2018. Any firm found to have incurred negative slippage or currently being imposed with liquidated damages, as defined by the order, must resolve these issues prior to the conclusion of the post-qualification period. Failure to settle such findings will be grounds for post-disqualification. Also, all requirements set forth in the bidding documents and the instructions relayed during this conference should be addressed and be well taken care of to avoid disqualification or post-disqualification. The back, with the assistance of the equipment verification team, will be strict on the compliance of the equipment as part of post-qualification as per DEO number 127 series of 2018. As part of the post-qualification, the equipment verification team will conduct an inspection on the verification of the equipment pledged by the bidder, including other documents to be evaluated.
Thank you for the presentation. We are now proceed to with agenda 1 and subsection. We will now proceed to agenda 2. The questions, comments from the leaders and replies in the back and other representatives of procuring entity. Any questions? If there are no further questions, and we will move on to other matters. The discussions of the following. The section 99, imposition of suspension of the IR of RA 12009. Section 100, imposition of blacklisting of the IR of RA 12009, as well as the additional reminders and guidelines for prospective bidders. A Department Order number 169, series of 2025, Department Order number 110, series of 2024, Department Order number 241, series of 2024, and which will be presented by via audiovisual presentation.
Other matters. Section 99, imposition of suspension. The Hope shall impose the penalty of suspension for 1 year for the first offense, and suspension of 2 years for the second offense, for any of the following offenses. 99.1. During procurement. A. Causing the delay, without justifiable cause, of the screening for eligibility, opening of bids, evaluation and post-evaluation of bids, and awarding of contracts. B. Refusing to clarify or validate in writing its bid during post-qualification within a period of 7 calendar days from receipt of the request for clarification. C. Withdrawing a bid or refusing to accept an award, or refusing or failing to enter into contract with the procuring entity without justifiable cause after the approval of the Hope for having been the declared LCRB, MEARB, or HRRB, as the case may be. D. Refusing or failing to post the required performance security within the prescribed time. Or E, for the renewal of contracts for regular and recurring services, refusal of the service provider to accept the notice of renewal, or failure to submit its updated documentary requirements for the renewal of contract without any justifiable reason. 99.2. During contract implementation. A. Delivering goods with unsatisfactory or inferior quality as may be provided in the contract. B. Poor performance by the consultant. Poor performance shall be as follows. 1. Defective design resulting in substantial corrective works in design and or construction. 2. Failure to deliver critical output due to the fault or negligence of the consultant. 3. Specifying materials which are inappropriate, substandard, or way above acceptable standards. Or 4. Allowing defective workmanship or works by the winning bidder being supervised by the consultant. C. Poor performance by the winning bidder or unsatisfactory quality and or progress of work. Poor performance shall be as follows. 1. Negative slippage of 15% and above within the critical path of the project due entirely to the fault or negligence of the winning bidder. Or 2. Non-compliance of the materials and workmanship with the approved specifications arising from the fault or negligence of the winning bidder. Moreover, the bid security or the performance security posted by the entity concerned shall also be forfeited. Section 100. Imposition of blacklisting. The Hope may impose the penalty of blacklisting consisting of 1 year prohibition for the first offense, or 2 years prohibition for the second offense for any of the following offenses. 100.1. During procurement or contract implementation. A. Commission of 3 or more of any of the acts imposed with suspension as provided under Section 99 of the IRR of RA 12009. B. The use of force, fraudulent machinations, coercion, undue influence or pressure on any member of the BAC or any officer or employee of the procuring entity to take a particular action for its own favor or gain or to the advantage of a particular bidder. Or C. In case it is determined prima facie that the winning bidder has engaged before or during the implementation of the contract in the following unlawful deeds and behaviors relative to contract acquisition and implementation. 1. Corrupt, fraudulent, collusive, and coercive practices. 2. Drawing up or using forged documents. Or 3. Using adulterated materials, means, or methods, or engaging in production contrary to rules of science or trade.
100.2. During procurement. A. Collusion between 2 or more bidders and submitting different bids as if they were bona fide, when they knew that one or more of them was so much higher than the other that it could not be honestly accepted, and that the contract will surely be awarded to the prearranged lowest bid. B. Malicious submission of different bids through 2 or more persons, corporations, partnerships, or any other business entity in which it has interest, to create the appearance of competition that does not in fact exist, so as to be declared as the winning bidder. C. Entering into an agreement with other bidders which call upon one to refrain from bidding for procurement contracts, or which call for withdrawal of bids already submitted, or which are otherwise intended to secure an undue advantage to any of the bidders. D. Failure to faithfully disclose its relationship, regardless of the time of its discovery, with the Hope, members of the BAC, the TWG and the BAC Secretariat, the head of the PMO or the end user or implementing unit, and the project consultants of the procuring entity or of the procurement agent, whichever is applicable, by consanguinity or affinity up to the 3rd civil degree pursuant to Section 81 of this IRR of RA 12009. E. Submission of beneficial ownership information containing false entries. F. Using the name of another for purposes of participating in any procurement activity. G. Submission of eligibility requirements and bids containing false information or falsified documents, or the concealment of such information that will materially alter the outcome of eligibility screening or any stage of the procurement. H. Unauthorized access of the contents of any bid submitted to the procuring entity before the opening of bids. I. Engaging in any documented unsolicited attempt to unduly influence the outcome of the bidding. Or J. Employing schemes which stifle or suppress any procurement activity. 100.3. During contract implementation. A. Assigning or subcontracting the contract or any part thereof, or substituting key personnel named in the proposal without prior written approval by the procuring entity. Willful or deliberate abandonment or non-performance of the project or contract by the winning bidder, resulting in substantial breach thereof without lawful and or just cause. Or C. Termination of the contract due to the default or unlawful acts of the supplier, contractor, or consultant. Moreover, the bid security or the performance security posted by the entity concerned shall also be forfeited. Department Order Number 110, Series of 2024, Implementation of ISO 9001-2015 Certification Requirement for Large A, Medium B, and Medium A contractors in the procurement of infrastructure projects of the Department. The Department shall now mandate ISO 9001-2015 certification as part of the project requirements for contractors involved in the procurement of infrastructure projects. This requirement applies to bidders classified under the following Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board, PCAB, size range, and are participating in the Department's procurement of infrastructure projects, with approved budget for the contract, ABC range to wit.
For PCAB size range, large A, allowable range of contract cost, more than 300 million but less than 450 million, effectivity January 1, 2025. For PCAB size range, medium B, allowable range of contract cost, more than 150 million but less than 300 million, effectivity July 1, 2025. For PCAB size range, medium A, allowable range of contract cost, more than 30 million but less than 150 million, effectivity January 1, 2026. Department Order Number 241, Series of 2024. Guidelines on the processing, approval, and reporting system of Construction Safety and Health Program, CSHP, for DPWH infrastructure projects. In line with the policies established by the Department of Public Works and Highways, DPWH, and the Department of Labor and Employment, DOLE, on the processing and approval of Construction Safety and Health Program for the DPWH infrastructure projects, herein are the guidelines for the preparation, submission, evaluation, and approval of CSHPs, including the corresponding reporting system for all DPWH implemented infrastructure projects. This department order aims to harmonize provisions from various issuances relative to the processing of the CSHPs for DPWH, particularly the Joint Memorandum of Agreement between the DPWH and DOLE as signed on October 7, 2024. Guidelines for the preparation, submission, evaluation, and approval of CSHP. In the issuance of the Notice of Award, NOAA, or Letter of Acceptance, as for the case of foreign assisted projects, the head of the DPWH implementing office shall require the winning bidder to submit the approved CSHP using the template recommended by DOLE. The submission for approval of CSHP shall include the application form for the evaluation or processing and other supporting documents as per DOLE's latest issued format and checklist of requirements in the application of CSHP. The DPWH implementing office shall only receive CSHP applications with complete documents. Any incomplete applications shall not be received, specifying the lacking documents. The submitted CSHP and supporting documents shall be evaluated by qualified CSHP evaluators duly supervised by the implementing office's CSHP focal person. It shall be evaluated based on the provisions of RA number 11058 and its IRR and other related issuances of DOLE, using the evaluation form prescribed by DOLE. If found in order, the CSHP focal person shall recommend the approval of the CSHP to the head of the implementing office. Else, the CSHP shall be immediately returned to the contractor, citing specific deficiencies. The head of the implementing office, upon the recommendation of the CSHP focal person, shall approve the CSHP not later than 7 calendar days from the issuance of the notice of award to the contractor. The contractor shall submit the CSHP not later than 3 calendar days from the issuance of notice of award to give time for its evaluation and approval. The DPWH approved CSHP is a requirement for the processing and approval of the contract agreement. Moreover, no claims by the contractor, advance payment, or first progress billing shall be processed and paid without the submission of DPWH approved CSHP. The DPWH will only approve CSHPs through a form prescribed by DOLE, if found in order. The DPWH projects shall not be implemented without the approved Construction Safety and Health Program by the head of the DPWH implementing office. Upon the approval of the CSHP and during the contract setup, the implementing office's assigned monitoring engineer shall input the data necessary in the CSHP module of the Project and Contract Management Application, or TCMA. Notice to all contractors, dated November 19, 2025, by the Secretary of Department of Public Works and Highways, Vivencio B. Dizon. Pursuant to Section 82 and Section 20.2.9.1 of the Implementing Rules and Regulations, IRR, of Republic Act number 12009, otherwise known as the New Government Procurement Act, and consistent with PhilJEP's advisory number 2025-007, copy attached as Annex A. The department hereby directs all contractors or corporations enrolled or applying for enrollment or updating in the Civil Works Application CWA to submit their latest General Information Sheet GIS, duly received by the Securities and Exchange Commission SEC, and reflecting the beneficial ownership information BOI. The submission of the updated GIS reflecting the BOI is required to ensure compliance with transparency and accountability provisions under the NGPA and to maintain current and accurate contractor records in the department's database. Contractors are likewise reminded to submit an updated GIS annually or every time changes or amendments are made and filed with the SEC to ensure their information remains valid and consistent with official records.
Okay. Thank you to all prospective bidders. Please carefully read all instructions and ensure full compliance to avoid any violations that could result a penalty, and for more detailed instructions and comprehensive guidelines on the key reminders briefly mentioned, bidders are strongly encouraged to review the relevant department orders thoroughly, and these documents are available for viewing and download on the DPWH website. Okay, in addition, in contract ID number 26LI0075, there is a correction of approved budget for the contract. This is 10,717,172 pesos and 92 centavos. Change to the ABC is 10,870,725 pesos. So some correction. That's all the now the new ABC of 26LI0075. And also we have received in August 13, 2026, the department order number 119 series of 2026, according to department order number 169 series of 2025. There is department order number 119 series of 2026. The department of the assignment of accredited contractors, consultants, project engineers to DPWH projects, and now is hereby deferred is until December 31, 2026. Stated no na deferred muna yung sa 169 yung accredited contractors consultant until December 31, 2026. Okay. Now, we'll proceed to the last agenda. The summary of proceedings, including supplemental bid bulletins to be issued and received, which will be presented by Senator Ernest Otero Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good day, everyone. All the needed information were discussed and explained. I would like to remind the prospective bidders to visit from time to time the DPWH and PhilJEP's websites, especially within 7 calendar days prior to the deadline of the submission of bids for supplemental or bid bulletins to be issued thereat. Please also be reminded that the submission of bids on or before September 3, 2026, 10 a.m. Late bids shall not be accepted. Bid opening shall be immediately right after the bid submission deadline. That's all, okay?
Okay, thank you. All of the business in the agenda were already taken into consideration. May I know the pleasure of the body?
I move to adjourn this conference.
The second motion.
Was moved by Engineer Samon and seconded by Engineer Tiro. And with no objection, the motion to adjourn this conference is hereby approved. And this conference is now adjourned. Thank you everyone for coming.